There we go. Okay. Hello, everyone. This took a second. If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody.
And this is Smokeysteveandmarc. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Sunday. We're here live tonight, a little bit later than usual. We're having about half a foot of snow outside, and it's been just the kind of day where you want to sit and have hot chocolate under a blanket and look outside. And
oh, that sounds good.
So stuff got done. Stuff got done, but I can't imagine, Christine, that in the Upper Peninsula it's not frigid right now. I can't. It's just outside. It started like yesterday was about 40 degrees, and then it came down, and then it came down, and then the snow started this morning at like 10, and then it started picking. It hasn't stopped. So, hey, Miss McPhee, how are you? Oof, my eyes are going crossed. Cross it. I'm trying to find the dream glasses that I can read, that look okay, and that I don't get glare. So I'm not like this the whole time. I can't stand that. I can't stand watching other people do it either. So, Luna's mom, hello. Texas, Susie, Mr. McPheebs, Little Seven. Perfect weather for an inauguration. I know, I heard there was a change of venue to move it indoors because of weather. So that's unfortunate. How are they going to take Greenland if they can't stand the cold? At any rate. So, thank you everyone for joining me this week. This is actually, I think, our third week in a row of sitting through Foodie Beauties and actually just... Let me just make sure we're all here. Are we all here? We're all here. There we go. Yeah, my chat's acting funny. But we're here. I can see you. You can see me. We can all hear each other. This is how I start Zooms when I'm at work. I'm like, can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? So, do that. So, last week when we checked in, we were live also. And Foodie being Foodie, and it being January, her options are kind of limited. She needs to produce the most money generating videos, which are her mukbangs. But it's also a time of year when shit's not worth as much. I mean, as far as you'll hear people saying, for example, you know, you make more in February or more in November, December than you do in February. I'll give you like a little concrete example from our little channel. If I make a video, then we get like 1,000 views on it. Average time of year, we'd make $10, penny a view, roughly. So in November or December, it might be more. It might be $15. Sometimes it's $20. It's double what you're bringing in. So everything makes it to camera for the last couple months of the year. But there's a slowdown. What comes up goes down. There's a slowdown that comes for January, February. So as I'm looking at our numbers now, we're up, we're doing stuff, people are, but views are down. Revenue's down. And it hits people across the board. Now, that's not a way to bury a failing channel, but everyone does take a hit. We've taken a hit every year since. So that just seems to be how it's going to go. But she's not faring it well because she's putting out her sweetest plums of her eating messy, and no one's watching. She can't even get shock value at this point. So last week we went back to binging with her because we were just going to eat because we need money, so we're going to eat. There was some pet talk, a little bit about Howie, which we'll get to. She was going to go on a 100-pound weight loss challenge, no fast food. It fell through. She could still eat takeout, just not fast food, because that's better. So, no fast food, and then she did a Hardee's live. She was there for about 5 hours. So, that's where we were left off last week. Now, underneath all the things I'll be talking about, Chantal, you remember how there was like Yo Mama, and Chantal didn't watch anybody else's channels, but she watched his, and that's how she seemed to know the fine details of what everybody else was doing. And it was kind of probably an excuse to just eavesdrop on what people think of her. She cares so little that she listened to a mouthpiece. Well, there's another Tippy, do I have the name right, who seems to be falling into the same boat as far as, that could be worse, as far as provoking her, her getting her information from somewhere, and her, you know, deciding that she can tell us all the truths and all facts about all reactions, because she sort of sometimes watches this person's channel. Okay, and when you go into the land of this, you're going into the land of of side talking, natter, channel strikes for invalid reasons. I mean, you're tripping into a whole bunch of stuff there. So, I don't know. No thanks, Chantal. Pick your sources carefully. Pick your heroes carefully. That goes for all of us. So going into this week, Mommy Warbucks. She was flashing some cash while she was out doing a few lives. She's been in the car a lot, which some would say is good, some say bad. When she's in the car, she's out mobile. When she's in the car, she's usually getting food. She doesn't have anything worth leaving the house for that doesn't involve food. So, Mommy Warbucks flashing the cash during a live. Pasta. She was having one of her favorite comfort meals. So she was having pasta, and the pasta looked like shit. But, you know, it was not a mukbang, however, it was a dinner with me. The difference being intention. We're supposed to trust her intentions with dinner for me, that it's not meant to be manipulative and sloppy. So, trust. Another live. Cappuccino bees. She went out for a little bit. She talks about God and reaction channels' place in her life as deemed by God as a challenge. Okay. Salah being a complete bee, Howie's passed away, the hamster. Howie was then buried in what I thought was a rather cringy funeral ceremony of taking the hamster to the beach and doing probably 9 illegal things, including burying it and then leaving the box afterwards. To me, that's such a small thing. Chantal goes to the beach and they bury Harry. And the box they had with them, she leaves on the beach. It's the perfect sum up of Chantal in that little bit. Once she's exhausted, something has exhausted its usefulness to her, it's garbage. It doesn't need to be brought, it doesn't need to be thought of. The box served its purpose, so did Harry. So hey, let's keep it moving. And it sounds like they're not going to get too many new pets, or any new pets. She did rage quit after a live, and she was mad at French Fried Girl because she gets more views and has more friends, and I don't know what else to tell you about that. That's just the way that rolls. And she gave an apology to her Beezers for being mad that French Fried Girl gets more views. I don't know how Chantal measures. You know, she loves her, we're few but proud, I'd rather have quality over quantity. Yeah, do you want to have a quality $3 or a quantity of dirty grand? Depends. Some people have complications about how they make their money, some people don't. I don't think Chantal's at all conflicted about how she makes her money. So the fact that she would even turn her eye at anybody else and what they do to make money is funny to me. So, yes. Oh, don't forget some love. A little thumbs up here, a little this there. Yes, Sandra, you made it. So, Mommy Warbucks was in her live, and she's flashing cash. Now, she throws this thing out there every so often that she steals Salah's wallet, which I don't know why. She would have her own. It's all full of her money anyway. And why doesn't he come with her? The speculation about him being embarrassed about being seen with her is picked up as of late. She's been out and she's been more mobile, and suspicion is that she wants to do these things and he doesn't want to take her. He doesn't want to be bothered. She said he's sleeping most of the time, which is why he's not there. I think she's projecting, but so goes. Let's see. Encourage people to report her driving. So if you don't like the way she's been driving around, she encourages people to report it. They bought an SUV. So they bought a car in Kuwait, and apparently it's like unique to that. And it's like an entry-level SUV. It's a nice car. It's got a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of features. I think it's a 2024. I also don't think they paid cash and bought it outright. The big flex is that you can finance $30,000 Kuwaiti. That suspension is half dead. You're right, Ms. McPhoebe. You can hear it crying. You can hear it crying. Move over move. Speed bump over speed bump. Not slow down a little. Curb over curb. You know, it's just not safe. She can't argue that she's a perfectly safe driver and that what she's doing talking during the chat isn't impacting her driving when she's videotaping us, telling us in real time that what she's doing is smashed all over the place. She'll get hers, Jamie. Just smile big and watch the show. I know. It all comes around eventually. So far in my life, I'm 42. For many things that I thought I would never live to see the end of this, I never lived to see justice or what I thought the version of it should be, and it came full circle. So things happen. You know, I'm just kind of biting my tongue with her. Debt with interest is a sin in Islam. Well, I don't know. And apparently the car can't leave Kuwait. Is there something about the quality of it or the make of it that there was discussion about? She can't take it anywhere. It's a purchase that's locked in time and space there. She couldn't bring it to Canada with her, I guess, when she comes. Somebody else reported her streams over the years and she's still here. I know, whole 180. It happens a lot. And it swings a couple ways. I think there's people that are offended by absolutely everything, whether it was Chantal or not, and they will flag because being offended makes them feel special. Then there's things Chantal does that are a clear smack in the face to TOS, and it goes unnoticed. And Chantal paints herself as a very sympathetic character. Everyone's out to get me. I'm the poor fat girl. I'm the poor minority fat girl. So everyone should feel bad for me. And if they're making fun of me, it's bullying. Calling her out on bad behavior does not become bullying. But when she has her uninformed audience of new folks, and she puts herself out there to say, this is how they treat me. Because people would think, why would someone lie about being bullied for attention? Why would someone act like they didn't bring it on themselves? She thinks it's not her fault. She discussed religion briefly, as such that Allah has challenged her, God, Allah, challenged her with these reactors to help her build her character. She's blaming God. She still won't take responsibility for the fact that what sometimes other people say is instigated by the shit that comes out of her mouth. She's deciding God is putting these things in her way. Not that her own rotten fucking attitude could have stirred up drama, but God put it there as a test. And she's failing. Wouldn't the ultimate test to be to overcome through dignity and grace? And then beyond that, your channel grows, which is evidence to the rest of us that you're doing the right thing because you have the most people watching and you have the most feedback, and honesty always wins, right? So how come it's not working for her? How come it's not working for her? How come She's Mad French Fry Girl has a few thousand people in her chat and Chantal has 300? And the 300 people there she yells at for not bringing friends, trying to make them feel bad. It's not your viewers' fault that you can't run your channel. It's not their job to make you more popular than French Fry Girl. It's your job to make you more popular than French Fry Girl. And you have a bigger channel, so you can hug your plaque to sleep. More people are watching her. More people are watching her. You know, it doesn't matter if you have a big channel, if no one's watching. She's incapable of learning even from God. I know, and pick your God. She's on, what, 2? She was Catholic originally, and then she was kind of nothing. Now she's Muslim. But this will get stale. I mean, as far as views even being stale, she hasn't had a video. She's only had a couple with 10,000 views or over in the last 3 weeks, maybe. They're in the 6,000, 4,000 view range. They're not as high from what we see. And I know she's not making the kind of money because none of us are. None of us are. That's across the board. You don't know my finances. I know trends that we are all subject to. So, Lisa Luhu, as I live and breathe, how are you, dear? Train all of her viewers off. It's her fault she only has 300. Exactly. What, is someone twisting her words? You know, or taking things in her life out of context? Like the 7-minute video of her dragging and burying her hamster on the beach? That should get over 10,000 views, you would think, if only on cringe factor. But she's running out of cringy things. Her eating and animal abuse only get her so far anymore. And that's unfortunate, but we have the Trump effect. Things are not as shocking as they used to be. Or they are shocking, but you're a little numb to it. And I think with Chantal, shock factor is what she always based all of her views on. And frankly, people are over being shocked. Everyone knows what kind of person she is. It's interesting to see what lengths she'll go to. But, beyond that, no one's watching to think she's going to turn around. I was a sucker for years thinking she's going to turn it around. And I maintain, seen sicker people than Chantal turn it around. But physical health and mental health are different than her personality. You know, she could be 120 pounds, but with that personality, she's not getting any better than Salah. I'm sure. Almost time for hyacinth and ham. Yes, Easter is on its way. Easter depression is on its way. So, talking about, you know, they always brag about how they're so wealthy. And Salah comes into the chats often enough, because he's not with her, to talk about how reaction channels don't have as nice of things as they do. And how everyone else is poor but them. They're wealthy for the class they're in Kuwait. That, like, if you, like that. Like, yeah, they're richer than all their peers because everyone else is probably paying taxes. I don't know. The snobbiness of it is a little different. I mean, neither of them have a meaningful career to lean on. You know, is the world a better place because Salah naps and Chantal, you know, eats and people pay for it? Is the whole world a better place? Moreover, if it's not benign, is it harmless or does it actually cause harm to put those kind of things out there? I don't know. Chantal seems to be the man at this point anyway. For the most part, she has the money coming in, she calls the shots. He's sleeping all day. Big alpha man sleeps all day and plays video games. That's not a man. That is not a man. Chantal does more manly duties than Salah does, one way for the other. If she's providing and paying bills and all that other stuff that goes with it, and he's doing nothing except shaving his beard every time she brings back fleas, you know, how many more years of this can we see? Because this is another one. I'm not watching to see their marriage fail. Chantal would be, like, confused about this. I'm not watching to see your marriage fail. I don't want to see anyone be unhappy. But to the extent that this looks fake, I kind of want to see that plot unfold. I don't want to see people's hurt feelings and fall out of love, but I want to see a contrived scheme explode and be exposed. That's the watching. Not for Chantal to get her feelings hurt, but for her bullshit to be front page center in a way that she can't explain it away. But we've also entered an era where you can explain away everything. I didn't say that. Yes, you did. It's on camera. AI. Well, that wasn't AI. It was you. Oh, well, they're just after me. All those networks talk shit about me this way, that way. All those channels. It's not very different. She's positioned herself as the permanent victim. You know, and people are afraid to be her friends because the reactors will tear them to shreds and sunder. No, that's not why people be afraid to be your friend. I don't think. I don't understand why he's still with her. She's good. She's wrapped around your finger good. She inserts herself into your life. She always takes advantage of the fact, Salah, I need you to say this for me. I need you to say that for me. Meanwhile, when she's signing contracts and moving and everything, it's all in English because his isn't that good. So it makes it seem like she's dependent and needy on him. Oh, I need Salah to drive me here. I need Salah to take me there. Bottom line, she'll live just fine for years without him. So how will this arc end? She'll act like it was no big deal. She'll act like she lived there for 2 weeks with a guy she met and pretend this whole wedding and marriage and everything, you know, never happened. That it was, not that it didn't happen, but that it wasn't as serious. Guys are more interested in my life than I am. God, it was just some guy. Okay? Get over it. All right? She might delete all the content because it's not making her any money. She's got mukbangs that are 7 years old that are getting more views right now than she's making on that. So, I mean, that is what it is. But I think it'll end quietly. I think she might delete the stuff. Their couples channel didn't have a big explosion. People just stopped being interested, if they ever were, in what they do as a couple. And so people don't watch. Yeah. Yeah, she's a good gaslighter. She does it well. I didn't say that. You all misunderstood. Chantal didn't lie. It's that 5,000 other people misunderstood what she said. And they deliberately do because they hate me because they're bullies. Oh, fuck you. God. Oh, God. Call the whole thing off. Let's call the whole thing off. So, everyone has an older car than them. So that's an issue. She can't fast for Ramadan this year. She's diabetic. She's never been able to fast for Ramadan because she has diabetes, eating disorder, gout, scabies, toxoplasmosis. She's trying to find reasons to not have to do what everybody else does. So, and that being sick makes her feel special. She gets special rules when she tells people she's sick, so she likes it. It makes her feel special. That was the thing I used to do when I was a little kid. Because, you know, like, if you grew up with a mom, dad, whatever kind of household, and if you were a little kid and you said, I don't feel well, well, the TV comes into the bedroom and you get to have popsicles at lunchtime and all sorts of other stuff. So, oh, I have a tummy ache. But you don't do it for that reason. You do it for the other reasons, to get the attention and the treats and all the stuff that come with it. That's her life. That's her life. So, she goes through the grocery shopping she's doing. She runs her grocery list past Salah while he's there. Salah, do I get this? Do I get that? What do I say? She has zero issue. She does not need a man, a woman, anybody to pick out her food for her. She's going to get what she wants to get. It's just to make him feel like he's in control, to make him feel like he's the man. I can't get around without you. I can't survive without you. It's not, she's dependent, not because it's her husband. She's dependent because she won't learn the language at all. And she doesn't think she has privilege, but don't you think the fact that you didn't have to learn a new language, moved to another country, and you've been able to live there comfortably isn't a privilege? I don't know. She thinks people are jealous, I think, probably of her money, probably of her relationship. Chantal leans very hard into the idea that if a person is single or not in a relationship, their life matters less. And I don't know why, because it's untrue. It's proof of love. She loves all that shit. Chantal needs proof of love. Call me honey, call me baby, bring me this, call me sweetie, drive me here, take me there. She needs proof of love, not for herself, for us. So it shows us that she's being loved, because I think the underlying premise is people think she's completely unlovable and unlikable. So she makes content that runs contrary to that. But when the holes start to poke through of that, it was like, hey, how come that guy that was your husband won't be seen with you? Do you think any of those 300 viewers she told weren't worth staying live or decided they're done with her? I would think so, Steady, but you never know. Some people like to be treated poorly. I don't know. It is a weird thing. It is a very weird thing to flex. But why would you tell the folks who are supporting you, like, she doesn't like the way she's treated by French Fry Girl, so it trickles down and she talks to her chat like shit. This whole little, trauma bond that we find our way through. She can't compete with French Fry Girl and her subs, so she goes to her own subs and says, what's the matter with you guys? Why aren't there more of you? If it doesn't matter, why do you care? And then she gave a half-assed apology. Well, get to that. But ultimately, she went out, she got a cart full of junk food and brought it home. That was it. This is for Salah, this is for Salah, this is for Salah. We all know it's not. We all know it's junk, so it's okay. And that her, is something of a joke. She did a straight up eat with me mukbang, and there wasn't a whole lot of stories and side stuff and all this other kind of thing. The dinner with me she did was pasta, and it was meant to be a comforting meal. Not a mukbang, but a comforting meal. I would have been really hurt. I would have too, Steady. What the hell? Do you know how much shit you probably have to take to be a ride or die for Chantal anyway? And then when you look to her for the reassurance that your trust and loyalty is worth it, she says, yeah? So what? That 300 isn't a lot. Well, for each individual who took time out of their day of all the things they could be watching right now, except TikTok, unless you get, change your VPN. Of all the things you could be watching, they're watching her. And she acts like that's whatever. She deserves people's time. She deserves more of it. The fact that you just came into the chat late is bad. I don't know, Roxy. That's the thing. She says how happy she is and how happy her marriage is. People who emotionally eat do it when they're emotional. So if her life's never been better, how come it continues? How come the emotional overeating continues if she's not emotional for all the reasons she listed? If she's just eating to eat, that takes away our emotional feelings, and that leaves glutton and addict. Either she eats all that much because she loves it and there's no emotional component, she just likes to feel good and she's a feel-good junkie. Or, she's addicted to it, and even if she did want to stop, she couldn't. And she probably feels pathetic that she feels controlled by a pizza. But once she gives in, she gives in. And that's it. So the pasta she had looked disgusting. It was a little bit dry. Good thing she was looking for low sugar cocoa and stuff earlier in the day to offset all of that. She talked a little bit about TikTok being banned and how it affects or doesn't affect her. So it's just entertainment. She doesn't have a presence of her own on TikTok where she makes money or advertises herself or puts content. So there's nothing in it for her except that she's going to lose stuff that she wants to watch. She's going to have to find some other way to distract herself with a new topic every 45 seconds. I don't know. Personal opinion, I've never had TikTok. I never downloaded TikTok. I do watch shorter videos, like YouTube Shorts, which is like TikTok Lite, kind of, I guess. Has videos in the same sort of way, but it's not nearly at the thing. Now, if people lose access to TikTok and they want to still monetize their thoughts, feelings, and actions, they might find other venues. But right now, people, I think, are still starting to scramble. Where am I going to get my stuff otherwise? Turn it back on. That's the promise. When you go to TikTok, it would say, "Don't worry, they're turning it back on soon." I don't know. I mean, I don't like censorship, but I also don't like monopolies. So, you know, and as much as I don't like censorship, I don't like the idea of fact-checking being called virtue signaling. How dare you imply that I'm being dishonest? You are. Yeah, but since there's no proof, well, the fact checkers actually have proof. Well, then we're getting rid of fact checkers. Where the fuck are we living? We're living in a world where Chantal thrives. There's problems. Yeah, TikTok comes, go, back already. I mean, it was not... And thing is, though, remember when Vines went? What was that, like 2008? On no notice, gone. And some people made the leap to other forms of media and then continued after that. There was people that were hugely popular, and Vines were freaking hysterical. So, we're back. We're back to TikTok. It couldn't last that long. Couldn't last that long. Well, I don't know. My life is not decidedly different because TikTok is up or down. I know a lot of people's entertainment is. There's a lot of influencers who their bread and butter depends on the stroke of a pen. You know? So... Vines, I'll still go back and watch best Vines ever or Vines that give me life, and I'll search it on YouTube. It's like a whole different generation of, usually you had this idea that this is the technology generation, but there's almost like there's a couple at this point. You know, I've been on Facebook for like 25 years. So, or not 25, excuse me, like 23 years? You used to have a .edu email address to be able to register for it. And then it was opened up to everybody, So we did another live. She got in the car. She can't drive very well at all. Chad asked her about her pasta. She said that the pasta was just fine. She went out for a drive to get some coffee. She says she doesn't intend to learn the language. Again, with the privilege. She doesn't have to. So she won't. Even if it would make her life easier. Even if it would demonstrate to Salah that she's committed to this culture, this community, everything that goes with it. No. No. Because then she won't need her husband. So, TikTokers I've known for a long time is probably going to happen. It's also, I mean, with tomorrow, all small channels could be demonetized. All of us. Things can change really, really quick. You know, and if you have made your money as a social media creator, I hope you stopped it, saved it, because nothing's forever. And that you can live well from there. That if you made a whole shit ton of money in a short amount of time, you at least save some of it so you can live well over a longer period of time. YouTube was not Mark and I's full-time gig. But we do track how much comes in and out and who watches and where they watch from and all that kind of stuff. So where are we? During the Cappuccino bees. This is where God came up. God put her through reaction channels as a test of her to be resilient. So... people not liking her isn't her fault. God put unfriendly people in her life to test her character. I think God has bigger things going on other places than to play chess with Chantal's life. Just saying, you know. I don't know. So, she went out for a cappuccino. Salah's not with her. He's always asleep or playing video games. The question is he embarrassed to be with her? And that's why he's not there. She hits the curb driving. She's laughing. Put your fucking phone down. Has it mounted. She's reading the chat while she's doing this, while she's talking. She's hopping the curb. She's saying that the thing that's distracting her isn't distracting her, and then laughing into the thing distracting her because she had a vehicle issue, because she took a speed bump at 30 miles an hour. That car is not going to owe either of them a dime by summer, especially if she's going to be driving it more frequently now to go get food. So, her going up that step, she was way too worried. I know. Into the coffee shop. Oh, God. Well, maybe they'll bring it out to me. Why would... Princess, bring me the coffee. I'm far too fat to walk. Should we say something else? Should we put it a different way? So, she did go out. She had her cappuccino. She talked. She didn't do a whole lot else. Now, I have a small section, a very small section I wrote called Salah the Bee. And the only reason I brought it up is because there's this push of hypermasculinity that comes from his end, when actually the dominance in the relationship comes from Chantal. And I think he's used to thinking Middle East, man, dominant, whatever. But when you take all the notes, put everything down, one of them would be lost without the other. And it's not Chantal. Chantal would survive in a slinky, disgusting, slimy way, but she would live. Salah wouldn't. Without his own privilege and his own family background, where would he be? So, I don't know. So, he would text and enter the chat between naps, apparently, because he's sleeping a whole lot. He calls the reactors losers and brags about his wife's money. What a king. Where's yours? Chantal's kind of the man in that relationship. So that was just my quick thoughts on Salah. It's it's so tempting as an effeminate Western man to say your macho bullshit is just that, because when you put it on paper, your wife pulls the strings. But if you want to pretend to be a man and type things into a chat, then go ahead. You know how much English you don't understand that everyone is speaking? That's where they're talking about it. So, and of course, your wife could learn Arabic, and then she could maybe even translate to you, because she's fluent in English and French. So, 80 bone-on-bone osteoarthritis. Ooh. I don't like bone-on-bone. Nothing good ever is said after bone-on-bone when it comes to those kind of things. So, all right. Now, Howie died. The hamster. So she's had Howie for a long time. Howie was initially a gift from Salah. There was initially 2 hamsters because the zoologist that he is didn't know, she didn't know about having males and females together. Because oh, it's so cute, we got a couple. Cute supersedes healthy, obviously. So, Glasgow, hello. So she's left with the one. Now, Chantal was out doing things, petting feral cats. Salah's there busy sleeping and playing video games. And in the meantime, for some period of time, Howie is sitting on live in his cage. Unbeknownst to Salah, Chantal found him, and he's there all the time. So, how long was that going on? Hamsters die, circle of life. Quality of life for an animal, no matter how long their life is, you can give them a good life as best you can. I'm not going to say what she should or shouldn't have done to have improved the quality of life for a hamster, because I don't freaking know. But I do know that the way she memorialized the hamster to me was kind of ick and kind of cringy. So Howie died. So they take Howie in a box and they go to the beach. And they bring Howie down and they show all sorts of shit that is TOS unfriendly, like actual images of a dead animal, things like that you can't show, you shouldn't show, shouldn't be monetized, shouldn't even be up. So I don't know. But she goes up and she puts it down and they say a few words and she just leaves the box there after she's done. And like I said, that's such a very, very small thing. But at the same time, even though it's a small thing, it sums up everything. Who buries a pet at the beach? I would check unless you're going to bury something anywhere but your own private property, you should look into it first, probably. You don't want to just help yourself to, people do that with spreading ashes. And I'm like, in public spaces, in dirty, Jersey water, you want to dump my ashes into the East River? So, it depends. Out here, a lot of people get cremated and put in the woods, put in a lake, that kind of thing. No hand washing. Because after that, we went to go hug camels to grieve. So they went for a drive in their car that's so expensive, we'd be lucky to sniff the wheels. And went out and she was playing with camels. They had actually kind of triangulated all the camels around her car so they couldn't back out. It was actually pretty funny. She's outside laughing because she doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And, I don't know. The eulogy was all about food. The eulogy is about her. Camel and corpse sick. It's just, and for shock value, doing this for nothing else. And it wasn't shocking. Something that's shocking, I think she thinks shocking is going to get attention. But every time it doesn't, it just looks like, wow, this unpopular woman is a witch. Because only 107,000 people are watching that, and this is what it looks like, and that's what she's doing? I don't know. No king has the hobbies of napping and playing video games. That was the last thing about Salah, too. So Howie being dead and buried showed for shock value. Allegedly now we're back, she was backtracking. Oh, how we had this lump and we weren't sure what it was. So now we're rewriting history with, oh, he was sick the whole time. You don't know what happens off camera. You don't know what happens off camera. So she took him out of a box, she buried him, she set it up to monetize completely. Too upset to talk, so let's meticulously document his burial. So the day before, she was so verklempt she couldn't speak. Gluffy talk, she was so verklempt she couldn't speak. The next day, she just can't help herself. And apparently she eats in celebration of his life, what it seems like. Too upset to talk, and then leaves her trash on the beach. So, and the camels. How many more times? Does Salah have to shave his head before she stops hanging out with wildlife? I mean, it's kind of funny that that's what happened, because that's the product of what people assume about poor hygiene, poor health, bad decisions, not thinking through. People make these observations, and she says, I know what I'm doing, it's my life, who cares, F you. And then all of a sudden you come back and they've got bugs, and they act like they were struck by lightning. God just put those bugs there as a test to us to fight off haters or something. All the foods. It's always food. It's always food, even if it's the hamster's food. So, burial video, yeah. Now, I will say this. If Oscar and Bandit, either or both passed away, yes, you're going to get some videos. Of course you are. You'll probably get 2 or 3. We'll probably lose subscribers for how many there are. But I'm not going to show you their passed away selves, you know. It would be something in memorial of them, about how much they meant to us, about all the things they did for us. Not, oh, he loved to eat all these foods that I would throw to the side, and, you know, I'm really glad I had the opportunity to be his mom. All about her. I'm glad he had the opportunity to live with me. All about her. But she did say, to her credit, I don't think they're going to be getting any more pets. But she might need, you know, she might need views in the middle of March, so she might come back with a pet or something. Hard to say, because it's not about the pet. It's about whose attention is it going to draw. I need more eyes on me, and the easiest way to get people's attention is to piss them off, so what can I do? And she's, again, just kind of lost the shock value. He had a lump, he had a lump, he had a lump. Yeah. No, ain't no lump. Ain't no lump. Just saying, ain't no lump. So she did rage quit. So she was in a live that was poorly attended. About 300 or so people were in it. And starts normal. She's all hot and sweaty, and she's covered up to her nose, you know. Once again, she was going to steal Salah's wallet to go out. I don't know. I don't know why she keeps her money in his wallet anyway. She was playing with the filters as she was coming on. She was getting some super chats. She wants to go out and pet more dogs, bring back more bugs for the animals she has at home. And then she notices that French Fry Girl is live during the live she's doing. And French Fry Girl carries about 3,500 to 4,500 people average for a lot of her lives, if not some more here and there. Plus a stream of super chats. I mean, that money just keeps rolling in, whether it's $2, $20, or $100. It moves through. A lot of people like what she has to say. They like her chat as a space to hang out, and they're happy to support her financially to do that. And Chantal, on the other hand, has less than 1/10 of that as far as in her chat. And what does she do? Rather than try to change herself and her content to draw a bigger audience, she yells at the only people left to say, how come there aren't more of you? So she gets her Phoebe's heard by French Fry. She turns around and hurts the feelings of her Beezers. Aging. Yeah. So, yeah. But I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't make video that people want to watch, what do you say? Do you think her video proved that Julia was adopted? No. No. What's her defense if Julia was adopted? That she adopted it? How does she defend the condition Julia was in by saying they must have lied about the condition she was in? Oh, when we got Julia, she had this. We knew that. She wasn't this. She wasn't that. So you got her from really shitty owners, it sounds like, because she needed all this medical care afterwards. And there was basics like shots and fixing that weren't even done. So if she was in the condition of a street cat just because she had a picture, and that's a picture on her couch, isn't it? Isn't that blue thing that she stinks up with the kitty sitting there? So I don't know. I saw baby Julia, but I don't believe her. Why would her? Why would anybody? It's just another story. But no, I don't think she adopted it. And what would be the difference? Would her poor treatment of the cat since then be justified by the fact that she adopted it? Or would that prove that she really wanted it, so she couldn't possibly have done any of those things? I don't know. Remember the time she told Julia not to, like, vomit up Chantal had yet to clean up after Julia's surgery? Yeah, she's no kind of pet owner. Her own cats. Has Chantal had a cat to death? Or do they always end up in somebody else's care? Because she only had those couple for a long time as an adult. I know she had BBJ and she had the other one for a long time. So, hi, Mark.
Hey, what's up?
Mark's in the kitchen. He just passed by. So I just thought I'd say hi on everyone's behalf. Don't think it's the same couch. Couch in the video had stitching around the cushions. Hers didn't. I don't know. I'm not as good of a keen eye on some of that stuff. I'll have to blow it up and take a closer look. Just tip it. So I don't know why she felt like this would be a time to come back and show some kind of evidence that the cat didn't come from a shelter or off the street. But everyone pretty much assumed the cat was in such poor condition that it must have been. Like, So, funeral. And she gave an apology. She did eventually apologize. She did apologize for being mean to all the Beezers. Though she said true supporters don't need an apology, which means anyone who matters doesn't need... I'm only apologizing to apologize. Because the people who I should be apologizing to don't need it, because they're used to my abuse. So they don't need to hear an apology. They know their place. That's essentially how she describes the victims, I mean subscribers, I mean Beezers. So, Amber? Ugh, Amberlynn Reid. There's some Amberlynn Reid, Zachary Michael nonsense going on right now, too. I don't know. Hard to say. So, but I don't do well keeping up with Amberlynn Reid. I don't like her. I don't think she's interesting. I don't think she's a particularly good person. And, you know, what's the end game? Her cat was found? Aww. Where was Rarity? There's a lot of places a person her size could lose a cat, like under the couch, and she can't get to it. Any place she can't get to, the cat could be lost. Amberlynn Reid's boring, really. I mean, at the very beginning of me looking at Girl World, before it was called Girl World, it was like pre-COVID, I was watching both of them because I thought, why do I have thoughts about these two women? But what do I want to say? Is it worth saying out loud? Are people already talking about the two of them? And is it worth, you know, even mentioning? And for Amber, no. And even at this point, Amber, there's way too much backstory that I missed. There's too many partners and nurses' aides and wipies to go through and sort out. Besides, Amber's as self-centered as Chantal is. It just looks maybe a little bit different. So, 190 miles away. 100 miles away. I don't know. I do not know. So, where we're looking at with our fair lady now is what is she going to do, like, for content going forward? Because as you guys were saying, it's not as interesting. She is not getting the views she was. She's getting views now that were comparable to views we were getting a few years ago. I mean, our channel was growing at the time, so your views to sub count looks skewed when it's happening, but I don't know. I started with Amber in 2016 and then moved on to Chantal. I did too. I just couldn't. I couldn't. She's not interesting. Who wants to listen to someone talk about how important they think they are all the time? And there's not a shred of humility in either one of those sociopaths. Not a little. Not even a bit. Doesn't even occur to them. Howie who? She's not joking. That's the big thing. That woman who acted like a sociopath for all those years on YouTube, she actually was. The one who ate just because she liked food and was greedy, she was. She didn't have a disorder. She didn't have an addiction. She didn't have an affliction or a troubled past. The bitch liked food and she ate a lot. And anyone who said anything, she said, fuck you, I can buy and sell you. That's how you make friends and influence people. That's the kind of life that brings around things like getting bugs. That's the kind of life that brings around things like, sociopath. All those personality, cluster B tends to be the one people point to, antisocial personality. She doesn't seem to have feelings and reactions like you would expect an average person to. Not all of us. We're all wired differently, but you would think there'd be a little bit of something there. Like a full face of CPAPs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't particularly... Where's my vape? Vape break! The smacking noise she makes when she eats is hard to listen to. It is, Sarah. There's people who love it. I don't know how many. There must be enough. Because she's still making the sloppy mukbangs. And she went back to having fast food anyway. There was no fast food, then we're having fast food, then she's having Burger King because there's it's always a new item. Okay, fast food franchises, there's a shit ton of them, and they always have new items. She acts like it's a day treat. Like, ooh, I just found out. It's only when she eats bread, Jamie. Only when she eats bread does the jaw click. Don't you remember? It was part of the ASMR, because people used to, complain. They're like, you want us to listen to you eat, and I can hear you chonking. Paraphila and me a dirty piece of trash that her chewing makes me hungry. Is so close to 500 pounds. I can't guess her weight. She was fucking with the filters the other day in one of the lives, and it was making her look bigger, smaller within the face. And, she's 5'1". So she could lose 200 pounds and still be overweight. So she's not in an enviable position to have to start getting a life back together. She also can't think of a good reason. No one cares about fast food the way she does. It's bizarre. Yes, Roxy, it is very bizarre. She has a personal... If you talk about her eating fast food in an unkind way, she acts like you're criticizing a person. It's like you're criticizing Salah if you criticize a spicy chicken sandwich. She gets that ingrained in it because it's stuff that's important to her. And she thinks it should be treated as such. Oh, we are all jealous, of course. I can't remember the last time I thought, man, you know what? I'm not short enough. I'm not overweight enough. I don't have a loveless marriage like I really want. Maybe I should model her behavior and see if I can have the kind of life she has, which she so clearly loves. So, even when I was obese, I didn't either. I didn't eat fast food like that. I was up to 300, and it was on, I don't want to say real food. It was junk, but it was mostly high volume, regular old ass food. When I was a kid, I was obese, but we would have dinner at the table, and we would have it family style. Everyone served everybody. And then I would clear the table and eat all the leftovers. So I wasn't binging. I wasn't making midnight trips to Burger King. I was just eating a whole shit ton. She has a fascination with it. Someone did her real dirty as a kid. I mean, she's an adult now. It's all on her. But someone did a number on her to spit out this. You were just a glutton, Roxy? Some people are. We would talk about that a lot back in the day with Chantal. What is the reason she's like this? Does she have an addiction? And she can't help herself. As unlikable as she is, she can't help herself. Does she have a mental health concern where she's emotionally eating or eating to say something she can't with words? What does the obesity say about Chantal that she doesn't say herself? It says needy. Needy, which you could probably pick up on, but she's very, very, very needy. And the fatter she gets, the needier she gets, and the more loved she feels by someone who does stuff for her. And that's okay. That's okay. But it can't be the whole relationship. It can't, it's going to turn into one of those caretaker relationships like Amber ends up having. And I think Amber is, I don't know. Maybe, I probably shouldn't say anything as a person who is not, exclusively heterosexual or anything. I mean, I'm gay, and Amber advertises that she is as well. But I also think women are easier to manipulate, and I think Amber knows that and does that. I think it's easier for her to emotionally manipulate her partners if they're female. And that attention might be more important than the person's gender. Not that she can't be gay to be gay to be gay. Of course she could. But it just makes me wonder. She would take food over the rest of us. She would take food over world peace. She would take food over... If it was the end of TikTok, or chicken Alfredo. Goodbye, TikTok. Amber's desperate. She can't be picky anymore. Well, she's not. I mean, people get to know you over a long period of time. You know, once the shock factor is gone, what's left? What is left that's going, oh my God? You know, Steve, what golden girl are you? I'm gonna say Dorothy. Panda, what's up? What's up? You're not that late. We're late tonight. We went at 7 instead of 6. It got pushed back. So, bad parenting plus bad seed. Yes, middle of nowhere. I would say that that's probably correct. Yeah, I would say I'm Dorothy. Tall, low voice, sarcastic. I wouldn't be Blanche. I don't sleep around that much. And Rose is lovely, but she's a little dim. Who would Mark be? Mark would be probably a mixture of like the niceness from Rose, but the provocativeness from Blanche. So there's the little more extra over the top bit. Oh, who wouldn't love to be Blanche? Run around, feel like $1,000,000, sleep with everything not laying down, not nailed down. So, and then there's Maud. I think there's a lot of Sophias in this chat, honestly. I think there's quite a few Sophias probably sitting in here. It's just a way of being. It's a way of kind of just observing the world, you know, and commenting here and there. It's by the time Sophia was involved, I mean, she was much more active than you would think a lot of 80-year-olds would be on TV or otherwise. They were always doing stuff. They were always active. Those women in their 80s were doing more than Chantal in her 40s. And having higher quality relationships and probably better sex. As you age, you better believe it. As I age, you better believe it. So, not funny enough to be Dorothy. I don't have Dorothy's timing either, Sandra. I don't. There's only one B. Arthur. There was only one B. Arthur. It's been suggested in different circles where if there's 3 groups of, they would usually say women, a group of 3 women, and I would say even gay men or men goes with this. There's the nice one, the smart one, and then there's the hoe. Golden Girls added Sophia, but when you look at those kind of generic small group things, it shakes like that. I can think of a number of times I was part of a trio of friends when I was going through college, and I was like, I've been the nice one, the smart one, and the hoe. It's fascinating. My hoe days are over. My hoe days are quite over. Yes, exactly, Sandra. Sex and the City had the same sort of formula. Exactly the same sort of formula. And it works. So, you never watched Golden Girls, Roxy? It's okay. It's okay. Pick a time sometime. Watch a few. But Golden Girls is like any other show, I think. Like The Simpsons was like that. Like, I don't like the first 2 or 3 seasons that much. There's that good span in the middle where it's always good, any show. And then at the end, it falls off again, too. So, I'm not that smart or that nice. That's okay. We got plenty of room for all kind of folks here. Doesn't matter. Not even a little. Designing women. Same kind of setup. Yeah. I'm glad they write so many roles for women. You can be nice, smart, or a slut. But otherwise, you're not getting a sitcom. I'll watch with my husband. He saw it a lot as a kid. I did too. It was grandma time. If it was my mom's mom. I had in kindergarten in the afternoon. So in the morning, I would hang out. If mom was working, grandma might watch. So stay warm, stay alive, be back later. LaDon, thank you very much. Enjoy your dinner and have a good night. Be safe. Take plenty of rest breaks and stay hydrated. So going into next week with Foodie from here, I think it's going to be more eating. I think because it's a slow month, we're going to have a lot more of her over the top trying to get things moving, trying to get people to watch, trying to do more dramatic stuff. She's going to have to re-engage. Frankly, she would have to like re-engage with Natter at this point to try to drum up some stuff. She needs to get people that were interested in the drama when she was making $20,000 a month. So whatever she was doing when she was making that money, she needs to recreate that, and she needs to do it quick if she's going to make it through the middle of this year and keep her husband. Because even if he does work, you know damn well she makes more than him. You know damn well. Because she was no trust fund baby. I get the feeling he had a bit more of a privileged life than she did. So, we shall see. We shall see. But At any rate, oh, I saw come by Big BB's. We had about 3 inches of snow. It started this morning around 10. Mark went out in the afternoon around 1 or so, and he said there was a couple inches on the car. He said that the car we have actually handles pretty well in the snow, and I was worried because it weighs all of about 90 pounds. But he said it handled it okay going uphill and everything, so that was good. I'm off tomorrow anyway for Martin Luther King Day. My office is closed, and Mark's going to be working from home. They already decided, so we're all safe and tucked in and everything with our warm weather. Slept a lot today. Mark slept in. I did. But it was just such a pretty day to like wrap up in a blanket and look out the window. You know? It's still snowing in New York. NYC! Holla! Yeah. It was wet here when it started, and then it's just gotten colder and colder and colder and colder. So are the days of our lives, Lisa Luhu. So they are. It's going down to -4 here in Montreal. Good God. I never get Canada. I'm getting so intolerant to the cold as I get older. It's really not anything I would, it's nothing to brag about. I don't want to be a snowbird and head south, when the weather gets bad. There's a lot of people up here. When you read the obituary, it'll say, Stephen of Scranton, recently of Boca Raton, recently of, Punta Cana, somewhere else, somewhere warm. I know it'd be better for Mark. He's going to be going to Florida in a few weeks, so he's going to be super excited about some warm weather, but it's -30 Celsius in Edmonton. Oh my God. I always wonder, do you stay because you're stuck? I mean, I guess why does anyone stay anywhere? There's so many other warmer places, but then again, if you lived at the equator, maybe you'd want to live somewhere cooler. The grass is always greener. Weather's always better, I suppose. But my friend, actually, who lived in Montreal, from South Jersey, from Philly, went to Montreal, University of Quebec in Montreal, and then is now currently, had some health problems, got long COVID, and it didn't go well, and he's a year younger than me, and he has a lot of complications, and found his way to Edmonton, and now he's actually doing really, really well. Found a good group of people, found some things to do that are important to him, and he's doing really great, actually, at the moment. So, don't plan to escape to Mississippi. We're expecting 1 to 3 inches of snow here on Tuesday. Oh, for... You notice how every year has been the hottest year on record since you were born in Montreal? Were you born in... All I know about Montreal, there's the French speaking and the English speaking. And I didn't know enough French to go have a good time. I just very little. My friend was fluent, but not me, not so much. So, well, folks, we are going to, I think, pack it in for the evening. Everyone, it was great to have you here. Sit down for another week to chit chat. It was a good time. It's more fun getting back into the swing of doing these regularly, which is good. And hopefully, if you just jumped into the middle of this, you can catch the replay or see the rest of it and leave it up. So, thank you all for joining me. If you're under crap weather, be careful, please. Don't be a hero. Don't go out and drive. Don't go over and speed over speed bumps. Okay? All right, y'all. Take care. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you'd be so inclined. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Feel free to sub if you're not subscribed at the moment. Thanks, and we'll catch up with you very soon. Mark's going to see you next. I'm not sure when, but Mark's going to see you next, okay? Thanks for watching. Bye. Say goodbye, Mark. Bye.